don't put it in the wife beater.
I'm not. Hello. Metro Max, my man DeMarco, what's going on? My man DeMarco with the plan. How you doing? Sharae, how you doing? Is that right? Oh, that's gray hair. Man, I can't get gray hair on me. Great. Sharae,
Hi,
how
hey
you
everybody.
doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. My children are alive. My feet is on the ground. I'm breathing. Everything is great on my end.
Excellent. Thank you for having me on today.
No, thank you for
It's
making the
such an
time to
honor.
join us. We're gonna give it about maybe another minute to get everybody to join. You know, because I think there's gonna be a great show today. I think we have a lot of women entrepreneurs as well that's looking to get into trucking, and I'm pretty sure they're excited to hear about your story, to hear how trucking been treating you. Exactly, you know, what message, what advice you could give them. I think we definitely on a track to changing the industry, man. So I think it's very important that we highlight your story, we highlight what you're doing in trucking, and also we make sure we highlight the opportunity that trucking has to offer. Too often, too many people don't know about trucking, so we're here to bring the opportunity to the forefront.
Absolutely. It's so many resources and opportunities that people just don't know about.
Absolutely.
So it's an honor to be on here with you, my brother, to be able to support the brothers in this industry. I got mad respect for you because you was a trucker, driving these, so you know what it's all about, and you turned it into something even more. And so salute to you, brother. Salute to
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate that. Like I said, well, the reason I do it is for people like yourself. You know, we understand that trucking has so many opportunities that it has to offer, but the industry been stigmatized so much, right? A lot of people run away from it. So for us, this is what, if you look at the average age of a truck driver, is 54 years old, and the pipeline of new truckers is drying out. No one wants to become a truck driver. So I feel like this is our duty, it's our responsibility to destigmatize trucking and make it more appealing for the generation next to come. So I'm excited to have you here, man. Really.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so let's get it started. Everybody, this is Pierre Laguerre, founder and CEO. Welcome to another episode of Trucking Weekly with an amazing guest, Sharae, founder and CEO of S.H.E Trucking. She built one of the largest community around female trucking, just providing tools and tips to help these truckers to help their bottom line, help their businesses, you know, give them support on the road. So Sharae, we really appreciate having you on the show. As we always say, man, before we get straight into the details, let us know exactly what is it that got you into trucking. Just introduce yourself to the audience and let them know a little bit about yourself.
So hello, my name is Sharae Moore. I've been driving trucks for 6 years. My dad was a trucker, my uncle was a trucker, my mom was a bus driver, so it was in my blood. I actually ran into it on the operator one time, and he showed me his check, and I was like, you can make that? You can put a comma in your paycheck.
Yep.
I said, I need to do that. And so I come from the medical field. I was a CNA for 8 years.
Wow.
And I just made that whole transition over, found the trucking school that had an apprenticeship program. So it was absolutely free. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket, but I was able to sign on with the school. I signed on with Swift, and I got my CDL. I had to work for them for a year, and it was worth the year. And the free education that they gave me made me who I am today. So with S.H.E Trucking, we're on Facebook. Our Facebook community has over 8,000 women drivers in it, almost 8,500 at the moment. And I just give back. I mentor, I coach, I give them the resources. All of our resources are absolutely free. Yeah. So on our website, SHETrucking.com, all the information from the community is absolutely free information to get you started, to get your CDLs, get that key, and put you in the driver's seat.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So like, let's get straight to it, right? Like, your family been a truck, and your dad been a truck driver. You say your uncle been a truck driver. Your mom drove a bus. So that actually like really runs in the blood. Really clearly, we can tell. So, but I want to know what after seeing that check, right, and then get into trucking. We understand trucking is very challenging, right? It's a male-dominated industry, and sometimes it can be very hard for women. Please explain to the audience, what is it that makes you stay? Because I'm pretty sure when you first got into trucking, you face your own challenges. But what is it that makes you stay to not be an owner operator, to be able to lead a group of community of women in trucking?
Well, I saw that it was a need. Let me just say, as you said, it was very, very challenging to get the CDL, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. But with persistence, being persistent, never giving up was the key. You know, even when they, you know, the first time I took that test, I failed. I was like, oh my goodness, like, I cannot get this. But I was determined to get it, you know, so I didn't give up. And so let me tell y'all, if I can do it, anybody can.
Amen.
Anybody can, because I don't even think I had backed up a car before I backed up that truck. But it was important for me to start our community because I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me.
Okay.
I was looking for the Black community. We was only 5% in the industry at the time for women drivers. And so now we up to 8% currently. And I just wanted to inspire more people to get into this industry. I want to inspire more people to tell them, hey, you can do this. Get the CDL. Or if you don't get a CDL, you can go and buy a truck, start a trucking company. But there's so many opportunities, and it's big enough for everybody, you know. So I just once I learned everything that I felt like I needed to learn, I just thought it was important for me to give back and teach.
Got it. So let me ask you this. How long did it take you from being a company driver for you to make that decision that you're going to really take the leap of faith and become an owner operator? Because usually that's one of the hardest jump for a lot of drivers. And for me, I don't recommend drivers get their CDL right away and then go ahead and become an owner operator. I always preach like, hey, get at least 1 year or 2 years in the game. Get some skin in the game. Like, get some experience, get the lingo before you go out there and purchase a truck. So how long did it take from you being a company driver to being an owner operator?
To be honest, it took me 6 years to be able to get my truck.
Wow.
I just got my truck in February, my own truck. I did lease purchase before before I went out and bought my truck. And it was because people like you, I see Alex, you know, it was those resources 6 years ago, you know, and DeMarco, those resources 6 years ago wasn't available.
Correct.
We didn't have a place that we can come to get this information. And then when you did see someone that was an owner operator, owned the truck, they wasn't giving you that information and the tools and nuggets that you needed. So you know, it was hard trying to learn the game, because you got to learn what to do, what steps, and there's so many avenues you can go down to be able to accomplish this.
Absolutely.
And so it took me a while. It did, you know, and I'm really, I think that it's important to learn the industry first, you know, and get some experience, you know. Maybe after 2 years I did lease purchase. I'm gonna be honest, if I had bought my truck straight out like I did this time, I wouldn't have been ready. You know, and I know I wasn't ready because I wasn't mentally ready. You know, I was just running and didn't know the game, you know. And so now at 6 years I can operate my truck. You know, I just saved my money, paid cash for it, and I went, you know, that direction. So
that's great. So I'm glad you said that. You said you had a lease purchase option, and then now you actually went fully and just own your own truck. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because too often that's something that a lot of drivers are not aware of. You know, those leasing option purchase could be very predatory. Like, you know, they get you into these trucks, and believe it or not, as sad as it may sound, these companies are praying and hoping that you default on that lease so they can pass that truck on to somebody else. Do you mind sharing your experience with a lease purchase with the audience?
So a lease purchase, just like behind me, RTI has a lease purchase program. And what they do is you pretty much is a bona fide company driver. That's what we call it.
Yep.
You know, you might get $1.10 a mile. You might get a percentage. And every week you have to pay that truck payment, insurance, you have to pay everything, but you're not making the type of money that you could be making if you wasn't up under that company lease. My opinion is go to a bank and try to finance it, and then go out and lease a truck and put your truck on somewhere so you can move the truck from one place to another. Because when you do lease purchase through different companies, you're not able to take that truck with you.
No way.
You know. So if the rates go down, or if you need to set things up, you can't do it. You got to leave all that behind that you put in.
Absolutely.
And that's what's the frustrating part for me was I put in so much, doing them lease purchase, and I wasn't seeing the results. When it's time for you to, finally pay that truck off, either the truck gonna break down, the maintenance, it's just out of control, or you got the biggest balloon payment. That's another thing. If you're gonna get into a lease purchase, make sure that you don't have a high balloon payment. If it's $1 buyout or 0 balloon payment, because that balloon payment will keep you in that lease for a long period of time.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely, man. That's great for sharing. Definitely, I think that's the very most important part, because too often, like I said, me myself, tons of drivers reach out and say, "Hey, look, man, I'm ready to make the jump. I'm ready to become an owner-operator." And the one question I always ask them, what makes you think you're ready for an owner-operator? Are you saying this because you're tired of working for companies, or are you saying it because mentally you feel like you're ready? Because too often people think, or some drivers think, that by them becoming an owner-operator, they're their own boss. Now they can give everybody the ass to kiss, right? And this is where I kind of really educate drivers, like, no, just because you own your own truck now, this is where you really need to put your business hat on. You need to learn how to build these relationships. You need to truly understand the dynamics of transportation logistics. If you was in your second year prior to you purchasing a truck, what advice would you give any truck drivers out there that's actually looking to either become a truck driver or already a truck driver thinking about becoming an owner operator?
I want to say, know that this is a business, because some people just think, oh, this is just a piece of another part of the job. No, you become a business. So you have to, first of all, structure your business with being able to get your LLC or whatever that is, however you want to structure your business. Get your account and make sure that your books in order, make sure your taxes in order, and have that business entrepreneur mentality. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to hustle. Yeah. Okay, the game gonna start. When I bought that truck, I was just like, oh my God, I have more work than I did before. But it's rewarding. Okay, it's rewarding once you get everything in line, and reach out to people that have services. Get them services, gain those services, and keep educating yourself. That's the piece of this whole owner-op thing. As I learned, you have to keep educating yourself. You got to stay up on the game, and you have to collaborate. So when you get in your authority and you get in, want to branch out, you do need to collaborate with people. Collaboration is very important in owner-op and ownership, entrepreneurship, and starting that business. You have to collaborate.
Absolutely. And I always say that, man, it takes a village, man, to build something great. If you think you're going to be that one lone driver, that you're going to go out there and conquer the world, go ahead. Even me, like I said, I've been in this space for 2 decades, and I'll tell you, I need a community, right? I don't think I could do it alone. Yeah, I could run a 4 or 5, maybe a $10 million business, right, by myself, which I've done before. But I think if we're really trying to change the industry, if we're really trying to make an impact and make it more appealing, it's going to require a community. So that brings us to the real reason why you're here, because another thing we don't talk about too often is how many women is in trucking, right? And for you to be in this space, being successful at it, what do you think women need to kind of know, or how do trucking should be exposed to bring more women into trucking? Although it's a very male-dominated industry, which I think is desperately needs some more women in this space. What do you think companies like Freedom, companies like yourself, companies like Metro Mac Dispatch, companies like Alex Good Energy, Box Truck Trucking, all these companies that are doing some amazing work in this space. What do you think that we can do to make trucking more accessible for women, to bring more women into the industry?
I mean, you're doing it. Having me come on right now, I've talked to Alice, I talked to a lot of Metro Max, I talked to multiple people, and having women that have the experience, been through that, sharing their stories, attract more women into the industry. Just verbally saying that you want more women and to come to your fleet. Sometimes I think we forget about that. Like, just if you ask, you shall receive. So it might be a woman that's like, I want to work for them, but I don't know. So when you put it out there, you don't never know how many people that are thinking what you're thinking, wanting to come and be a part. I will say this. I talked to one of the trainers at Swift. He's been driving. His name is Orlando Roberts, and he's been a trainer for 17 years at Swift.
Wow.
And when I first started 6 years ago, I said, "Can you be my trainer?" He said, "I don't train women." Okay.
Wow.
The last year, the 2 years, he been training nothing but women. Going through the schools, women are kind of taking over. They coming in trucking. Okay. So every student that he's had in the last year or two has been a woman that he's been training. And he said it just ain't no more men. A lot of men are not coming like it used to be. So things are changing. The industry is changing as well with it. The equipment is more it's more easy for women to drive. You got your automatics and stuff like that. The seats, you can the Volvo was one of the trucks that they asked, what would be more comfortable. So the actual job itself is easier for women to be able to get in, drive, and be successful.
Great. No, I think I agree with you 100%. I think we definitely need more women. But the next question will be around that. You yourself as a woman driver, and like I said, you're killing it out there. You're making great money. You have a great community. Explain to the women the opportunity that they're missing out there if they don't look at trucking as that tool to build that wealth, to build that income, to go ahead out there and conquer anything else that they want to conquer. Not to say just look at trucking like this is the end of your life and retire there, but the opportunity for women to use trucking as a tool, not just women, but anybody. But I think right now we're talking about women. Like, how can you talk about a little bit about the opportunity that's there on the financial side, the upside for women to become truckers?
It's not a lot of jobs that you can start and, careers that you can do 3 weeks, up to 7 weeks of training, and then you can come out making a minimum of 40,000 a year. That's the very first thing. From that, you can be able to support your family. You can be able to build that house, your dream house. You can be able to accomplish those goals. I think cross training is important. So if you're a driver, learn dispatching. If you're a driver, learn brokering. Go ahead and get those tools up under your belt to be able to be, able to do whatever you need to do. However you need to move your truck is going to be that most important thing as well. And I think it provides opportunities. In our community right now, even with COVID-19, the current situations with everything closed, trucking is an essential job. That we just kept moving. We kept moving. We kept making money. And if you was not able to move, you just had to find another route.
Correct.
That means go to another company, figure out where's that toilet paper. Okay, so I was looking like, where's the toilet paper? I actually came to RTI because they had a lot of freight. And so, I just think it's the opportunity for not only women, but if you have any kind of like misdemeanors, if you have a criminal background, and you're not able to get a job, you can come into trucking, and really be able to take care of yourself and your family.
Absolutely. Nah, I talk about that all the time. Like, I think we all know the statistic, right? 71% of all goods that are moved across the country are moved by truck drivers. 71%, right? So that means the country depends heavily on trucking. Like I tell people all the time, even the stuff that come on the plane is not going to land on your block and deliver your package, right? A truck still has to get it to the final mile. The ship that comes in, a ship is not going to pull up on your block and deliver that washing machine you order from China. A truck has to bring it to you, right? Same thing with the rail car, with the train. The train is not going to pull up on your street to do no deliveries. A truck can still have to bring it to you. So that means trucking is the backbone of this country. And I think that's something that, I know we talk about autonomous all the time and that kind of skid drivers, which we don't have to get into that conversation. But I really want to kind of talk about the opportunity that, for women to get into trucking, like you said, is not just being a driver, it's being a dispatcher, being a logistics personnel, being able to also become an entrepreneur and own multiple trucks and make that passive income while you're at home. So you're all absolutely right. Trucking has a lot to offer. So that leads me to the next question, which is the $1 million question, right? Why is it important to build communities in trucking?
It's important to build community because you need support. And like I said, when I first started, I was looking for a community. I was looking for someone I can ask the simple questions. Like, I'm going to give you an example. When they put 40,000 pounds on your truck and you got to slide your tandems, how do I get this right to make sure my weight is even? And that was questions I had to ask other drivers. That was questions I had to, school was over. Now you out here by yourself. So community is important because first of all, inside of that community, the people that run the community, like I'm gonna use Fleeting as an example. A Fleeting community gonna educate you.
Yep.
Okay, you know they're gonna give you tools and resources to make you even more successful than you think you are. It's gonna make you realize how much you don't know and that you need to know. You know, and having that community is, you know, that sisterhood, that bond with other people in this industry. It gives you the opportunity to collaborate, to be able to come together, to be able to sometimes as a driver get out of that truck.
Yes.
You know, and talk to people who understand the things that we're going through as well. So.
Nah, man, thank you. You hit it right on the nail. I think it's very important. Like I said, I keep talking about community. I'm big on community. Once again, me myself, I said I would never build a business alone by myself again, right? Because without a team, like anything happened to me, then the business fall apart. So I'm very grateful for my team. Like, you know, Paul, Mina, Star, Brett, RJ, Jordan, we really appreciate you just giving some shout out, because if I didn't have a team where I kind of really look at my team as my kind of inner community for now, right? As we build on a bigger community, I need them to bounce ideas off. I need them to lean on it, because a lot of time things is not as easy as we think it is, right? There's a lot of challenges in trucking, and people just don't understand it. They just think, okay, yeah, you own a truck and you start making money right away. But you do need that support. You do need that shoulder to lean on. You do need that expert to ask the question, hey, am I making the best decision here by accepting this load? Because a lot of times drivers don't understand those unit economics, so all they see is numbers, and they're just kind of accepting loads. So for us, that's the reason why Fleeting, we all about building those communities. We want to educate the driver. We understand the driver's journey. Drivers go from being a driver, they want to work for a company local, and then run over the road, and eventually they want to become, I'm sorry, not run over the road, they want to come on an operator and own their own truck. But a lot of times they don't have the tools, they don't have the support to help them make the best decision. So they end up into those predatory leasing deals with companies that take advantage of them. So I think it's really, really important with what you're doing, building that community with Fleeting and allowing drivers to truly be educated, to share ideas, to show, hey, how can we move this industry forward, right? There's a lot of opportunities there, and there's a lot of things we need to do. Back on that community as well, right? So as we know, I will say that the face of trucking is really changing little by little, right? The number of women, it's not that much men, too many women in trucking, which we're talking about, that we definitely going to work together to make sure that we bring more women into trucking. But as far as like the average age of a truck driver is 54 years old, right? And since they're kind of dying out, and not to say dying out, so excuse my French, but in the sense where it's like the pipeline is drying out. There's no new drivers coming on. No one wants to become a truck driver, right? The industry been so stigmatized. When you think about it, it's like, well, why should I be a truck driver? If I become a truck driver, I have to give up my way of life. I have to give my social life. I have to give up sleeping on my bed to become a truck driver. Why should I become a truck driver, right? What message would you give to the young generation that are listening to us, the young women that's 22, 23, looking for opportunity, the young men that's in certain marginalized communities looking for a way to kind of, you know, get some financial stability? What message, what could you give them about the trucking space?
So let me backtrack a little bit. Miss Rose said the dream work, and it made me think teamwork is the dream work, and that's absolutely right. But to answer your question, trucking is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. This is not a job that you can just go to and leave. Even when I'm at home, I'm still trucking. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still, you know, doing that. Trucking is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that you have to adapt to. You have to learn how to live it. You have to be a survivor. You have to have instinct. So when you get to that street that look kind of small, and you say that voice in your head say, do not turn down that street. You have to listen to your intuition. In trucking, you get to learn yourself. When you're enclosed in that cab by yourself, you learn who you are, what you like. You start thinking more. You be able to. It really is. It's a lifestyle, you know.
That's
and
so true.
That's what I love about it, though. You know, I when I was driving, I thought about S.H.E Trucking.
Wow.
This is the thing. Y'all are seeing the thoughts in my head come to life. And if I hadn't been in that space, we wouldn't have this brand. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to do that. It gave me the opportunity to really, really just reach for the sky.
Yeah, go for it.
And then I grabbed the moon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
I love that. Like what you just said really, really resonated with me, right? Same thing with me. Even when I was a driver, right? When I was a driver, when I was managing my own fleet, or an operator, I've always envisioned myself to be where I am today, right? And I think that was one of the things that I kept in front of me to kind of stay focused, and regardless of how hard my day was, regardless of the days I didn't make nothing. You know, like I said, sometimes, you know, your profit really goes to the trash. You don't make nothing. So I think it was that vision of seeing myself here, the vision of being in a position to bring more solution to the market kind of really kept me focused and kept me going. So I really appreciate saying that, because too often, some people that can't see past their nose, right? They can't look into the future. Like, they can't really say, okay, well, you know what, I'm here today, but what is my 5-year goal? Where do I want to be 5 years from now? And for me, one of my biggest fear was either mediocre or doing the same thing that I was doing 5 years ago. So I think that push always kind of, you know, kept me motivated and kept kind of really look at the industry. How can I improve the industry? What is it that the industry needs?
And you know, I just want to say it's important to plan. It's important that when you're on the road, or if you're not on the road yet and a driver, to get that pencil and paper and write down your goals. It's important to plan. Planning is the key thing to trucking, okay? Because once you get in it, you got to plan your route anyway. So going, you know, coming in and planning is the key factor to this thing, you know. And just writing down your ideas, get it out your head, write it on paper, manifest it.
Got it, man. Perfect. You well said. Plan is very important. Me, I go by the 5 P's of life, right? And I always say this: proper planning prevent poor performance, which is the five P's of life. It's very important, right? Like I said, proper planning prevent poor performance. So that's something that I really live by myself and truly understand the importance of planning your work and work your plan. So that's I mean, I think that's a great way to really look at it. But let me ask you this from a woman perspective. I know we don't have too much time here. You being a truck driver, and I know a lot of time you have to stop at these truck stops. You know, they're very dark. How do you feel about your safety when you're parking in these truck stops? And what do you think the industry should do to make women feel more comfortable, feel more safety when they're parking these trucks at these truck stops, you know, about 2, 3 in the morning in West Bubble somewhere?
So for me, I've always tried to start early and stop real early as well. So I'll start at 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, so I could be done at 5 or while the light is still daylight. Once I'll go into the truck stop, I pull into my fuel island. I'm going to do everything I need to do. Once I get done, I'm coming back, I'm parking my truck and I'm shutting my curtains. That way I feel more safe and secure. You can take your seatbelt as well, lock it in through the doors, you know, if you feel comfortable. But I don't hang out in the truck stops. A lot of women, we don't hang out in the truck stops or hang out, you know, we about our business. So we out here moving this freight, and then we tired and we're gonna rest. So we shut our curtains and get into our own space. As the 6 years I've been out here, I haven't had to fear my safety. I will say that I do the Second Amendment. Okay. I stand behind the Second Amendment. Amen. And I think that should be
standard across the board for all women, I think.
Right. I really think, because the world, you know, you don't never know. So you have to be cautious, you know, and be aware of your surroundings. You know, checking to make sure no one's around you, no one's around your truck is very important. For me, like I said, I didn't fear anything. I never had fear, you know, because I'm tough. So I never had fear. You know, growing up where I grew up from, I was just like, y'all can't, I ain't scared.
Correct. Well, what do you think that us male truckers, what is it that we should be doing to make the space more safer for women? What is it that you think when we at truck stop? Because I feel like it is also our duty, our responsibility to protect our women on the road. So, because you know, truckers, it's all about community, right? We protect each other. We tell each other where's DOT. We tell each other, hey, look, the scale is open. What is it that you think we should do as male truckers to provide that safety environment for all women that are in trucking?
Look out for your sisters. Like, if you see us out here and we struggling, and I do have to shout out to the guys because they do come and help. I had one time I was at a fuel island, and I had a guy come up to me talking crazy. All my brothers came out like, "Sis, you okay? We got you." Amen. You know, and I'll never forget, it was I think it's called Blacksburg, South Carolina, or something like that, right on the borderline. And my brothers came out, and they you know, was making sure I was good. So you know, doing that, if you see us struggling trying to pull this landing gear up because the trailer is too high, simple things like that of just offering a helping hand, not watching, have your phone out. and videotaping. Okay, that don't work. That has to stop. We learned, if we don't learn anything this year, is help someone.
Yes, put
Help
that phone down.
someone.
Put that phone down, stop recording, and go out there and help.
Yeah. That's right. Right.
Oh, man. Amen. All right, one more question before we go. I don't know. I think the audience might have some questions, but I understand sometimes when we go to some shippers and do deliveries, right? Too often some shippers that don't have restrooms, right? What is it that you think more shippers should do for women? Because, you know, us men, we could go in the bush and take care of our business, but for women, it's a lot harder. What do you say about those shippers that have those facilities that doesn't have those restrooms for women?
When I worked at USF Holland, about 4 years ago, I was the only woman that, and normally we always the only woman at the companies. I mean, I've been at multiple companies. I'm always the only female and the only black that worked for the companies as well. And so I worked for USF Holland, and they didn't have any women's restrooms. And I put a petition together, and I got everybody to sign the petitions. The men did not realize that we didn't have a bathroom.
Wow.
You know, because men not thinking like that.
Exactly.
And we was union at the time, and now every USF Holland terminal, all 21 or 27, however many it is now, they all have women restrooms. So that was one thing that we did. A lot of the shippers don't have them. So being voiceful and saying, hey, you know, yeah, you know, having that conversation is very important. A lot of women, they know to, you know, go ahead and stop before you get to where you're going, just in case. And it is other things that, you know, we be able to do to make sure that we're good. But that's something we have to tackle, y'all, and it's nasty. So make sure that y'all are bringing bleach. Make sure you got your cleaning supplies, your Lysol, get all that. And now we including the mask. So make sure you stay masked up to protect yourself while you out here for the COVID-19. But make sure you have your bleach out. Get you a bleach bottle. I tell people I keep my little gallon jug with me at all time with my cleaning supplies. And if you don't have nothing in your hand, you make sure you have your spray bottle so you can make sure everything stay clean. And that, you know, because it's nasty.
Man, tell me about that. Trust me, really appreciate you saying those stick with those drivers. It's really important that we stay safe out there. We know we still through a pandemic right about now, right? And we understand how heavily we depend on truckers. So if all of our truckers out there are hurting, guess what? The entire nation will be hurting. So it's very important that truckers stay safe. And I think you're doing a wonderful job out there by, you know, delivering those supplies to your community, stay up to date with them and follow up with them. Now, what is it that you think, with COVID-19, how did COVID-19 affected your business? How it affected you mentally, emotionally? How it affected your entire community of truckers?
You know, I actually needed a break. To be honest, I needed a break. And I was just at the point where I was like, oh my good, like I really needed things to slow down so I can catch up, you know. And I had already planned, put my vision board together and all that stuff. And of course, during COVID-19, like this year, we supposed to have a conference, the S.H.E Trucking first annual conference. And of course, now we got to push it out. So it affected in those type of ways. So we couldn't come together. And so we learned how to virtually come together. You know, like now we can take the time to talk to one another, you know, to be able to get to know one another. That's what I learned with COVID. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take naps. It's okay to reset, you know, and rebuild.
That's right. So what I heard is it's okay to take those breaks, relax the body. You understand? The money's going to be there. Don't try to put yourself to rest if you need that rest. Because that's another thing, too, as we see.
Health is wealth.
Yep, exactly. Health is wealth. And a lot of drivers out there are usually, most fatal accidents usually happen just literally 2 miles away from the destination, right? And that's because sometimes drivers are not well rested. We're always hustling, trying to get the bag, and trying to get the bag. And too often we don't even get to the bag. We end up in a body bag. So what another message you would give to drivers out there that are hustling? I understand the entire game is all about hustling, but what message can you leave?
It broke up. I didn't hear you.
No, what I'm saying is pretty much drivers that are driving out there without catching their rest, trying to hustle to get the next load to get the bag, and too often they end up dead in a body bag. What message would you give out to these drivers out there to make sure that, yes, it's important to get the bag, but it's also important to stay alive for your family?
Self-care. You got to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You got to get out the truck, stretch, move your legs, walk around your truck a couple times. You have to take that nap. Do your 30-minute break. I take naps sometime on my 30-minute breakout. I am a napper.
Come on.
People laugh, oh, you take I love my little 30-minute naps because it recharges you. So, and then you don't, if you die in the truck, they're going to come and pick that truck up.
Yep.
They're going to come pick that freight up and they're going to keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
So you have to put yourself first and realize that you matter, because they can move that freight with or without you.
Amen. And I tell brothers out all the time, a freight can be late, right? The freight person sometimes got better insurance on it than we do have on ourselves, right? Even if the freight is damaged, they got a claim, they can take care of that. They can always get those freight back. But you go ahead and lose your life, your family lost you, they'll lose you forever. So I think it's very important. Drivers understand how important it is to get those rests, to make sure that, they do what they're supposed to do and take care of themselves. But, Sharae, I
using apps like WeatherBug. Like I use WeatherBug a lot. And on the WeatherBug, you can see if you're going into a area that has high wind, if you're going into an area that has that's snowy, and what's going on ahead of time before you get there. And that comes with pre-planning. So pre-planning is so important when it comes to your safety. Because if I know that in Wyoming or North Dakota that it's not the best situation, I need to plan for that. So I can slow down. Going 5 below the speed or whatever that is, looks like that you need to do to properly adjust and make sure your time is going to get you there on time. So pre-planning your route is the #1 key.
Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. All I hear is safety, 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 safety. Like, you can't negotiate with safety, right? Everything is all about safety, because if you're not here, you're not going to be able to take care of the family, and definitely not going to get that back. So definitely appreciate that. Sharae, I think it was a great having you, man. We really appreciate it. I mean, everyone that's just joined late, we have Sharae here, founder and CEO of S.H.E Trucking. She's been a trucker for the past 6 years herself. Started as a driver, now an owner-operator, running a huge community on Facebook with over 8,500 female truckers. And I think she's doing something amazing. Tell the audience where they can find you, man, because I think people are looking for those type of support. They want to connect with you. There's a lot of women that are looking out there that want to become truck drivers, that want to become entrepreneurs. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find us on Facebook up under S.H.E Trucking Sisterhood. If we are a woman-only community. You can also find us here on Instagram up under S.H.E Trucking, YouTube, LinkedIn. We on all platforms up under S.H.E Trucking. Also, go to the website SHETrucking.com. That's where all of our resources are. Literally everything. As they say, you can put knowledge in a book. I put knowledge on my website free for you to be able to get the tools that you need. So go to SHETrucking.com. Also, the apparel, the S.H.E Trucking apparel is on SHETrucking.com as well. I see Run with Reliable said, I love your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We also have the S.H.E Trucking podcast.
Now, we don't even call this a podcast. This is a live cast. It's a mix of Instagram Live with a podcast. So we call this a live cast.
I think they speaking. I have a S.H.E Trucking podcast.
I'm sorry for stealing your spotlight. I'm sorry. You got to send me the link to that podcast too.
Absolutely. And it's on SHETrucking.com. Sunday, we did our 30th show. So we have 30 shows in that we've been doing and bringing people on, like educating, giving them the knowledge. It's been over, I think, 7,000 people who have listened to our podcast.
Wow.
So shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for your support. Every week on Sunday, we're going to have you on. I'm telling you, you're coming on the S.H.E Trucking podcast.
Definitely welcome the opportunity. If it was one last message that you would leave, and we're not talking about the male truckers this time. I'm sorry, fellas. This one is for the women. What message do you want to leave here that you want to be resonate with all the women out there, the truckers, the one that want to become truckers, the one that want to become entrepreneur? What message would you leave them with?
I'm going to leave you with 2 of my quotes. My first one is, go to sleep with the dream and wake up with the purpose.
Woo.
You can do whatever you want to do. Just think about it tonight, sleep on it, and wake up and do what you need to do. Okay? My personal quote is, I couldn't change my past, so I decided to change my future.
Woo.
So don't let your circumstances be who you are.
Amen.
If a couple years ago, you'd be like, oh no, that's not who we are, who she is today. Because like I said, I come from the medical field, and now I drove myself into trucking and love it. So, you know, you can change your future. You can't change your past, so look forward and keep moving.
I love that. And I think that really resonated with me as well. And I always say the same thing. Your current situation does not determine your final destination. So it's very important that we think of ourselves in those, like, you know, to be entrepreneurs, to be that driver, to be whatever it is that we dream to become. Really appreciate you, Sharae. I'm not going to hold you up. I know it's Thursday. You probably got still paperwork to do. You probably got to get with your community. You probably got to send out a lot of packages, medical care for them. So we really appreciate having you. And we're definitely looking forward to having you more often on the show to bring more, to highlight this opportunity for women in the industry.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. Y'all make sure y'all go to SHETrucking.com and check out all the resources that we have. Support the movement. Support the movement.
Amen. One last thing. S.H.E Trucking don't mind if I join, right? Because, I mean, I'm not, you know, am I good to join? No.
You know, we're definitely going to have you in our community. We definitely going to have you in our community because it's important, like I said before, us to have that brotherhood come in like that. And, you know, we want to make sure that every one of our members know about fleeting. So we definitely going to have you a part of the team. I'm looking forward on collaborating more with you and be able to let everybody know about the services that you offer.
Thank you, Sharae. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to it. I look forward to partnering with you. Anything I can help out with, feel free to reach out. You have my number. Any issues you have, any questions you have, don't go crazy trying to figure it out. Lean on me. I'm here. Lean on the fleeting team. We're here to support, and we want to make this thing a reality for everybody in trucking. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you. Peace.
Thank you.